We're going to review Uberti's copy of Colt's model 1849 pocket revolver in .31 caliber. In my constant working with the black powder stuff, I'm trying to branch out and cover all the different types and calibers. I've only had, I think I bought the 136 caliber and I had a couple 44s. So now we're going to get down into the 31s. And we'll take a look at this gun and we'll talk about also getting some ammunition for it too. Okay, I ordered this from Midway. This comes in a box. It says a Uberti and it is marked Stoger. So I don't know how it's marketed. They got a nice manual, very nice color brochure that opens up, shows you all the different guns they make. And basically it's the little itty bitty pistol in the box, plastic. Now this one is the one, the 49 is the one with the loading lever. There are two other variations made, the Baby Dragoon and the Wells Fargo. And I'm not really quite sure what the difference is the Baby Dragoon has a square trigger guard and the Wells Fargo is rounded. This was the one with the little loading lever, which was the last of the line. Also, these little 31s, I guess these pistols and their variations were the ones, this was the model, this little 31 caliber. These were the ones that had the highest number manufactured. Colt made more of these for the civilian market than they did with any of their military contracts and their other guns, I believe. Okay, and so the gun shows up as usual. You know, it has a heavy coating of oil, a protective oil on it. And when I first got it out of the box, now every single one of these guns, Ubertis, Piettas, whatever, every single one I picked up new right out of the box, not a problem. Which this one here now did. About the third time I did this, the hammer got stuck back and the cylinder wasn't quite lined up and it was stuck. And I had to try to take the whole gun apart and get it apart. And once I got it apart and moved the hammer around, put it back together, it would work a little bit and it would get stuck again. So I had to go and totally disassemble the gun. I mean, every last piece. I know there's some people that say they don't like doing it, but all these Colts are the same. After you get the barrel and everything off, 2 screws here, the screw under there, and then you take out the mainspring with the screw. Now, also, I seen a video where they said the mainspring on these are weak. The mainspring in this gun, and it is dated 2021 on the side, yeah, they mark it now, the last two, 21. So this gun was made this year. This is current production. And mainspring's pretty heavy, and you can feel it when you pull back at first. It's heavy, unless I'm mistaken, and we'll see. I haven't shot it, so I can't tell. And how we know is when the hammer starts to come back. Okay, so I took the whole thing apart, and the only thing I could find is that the spring on the hand, once I got it out of the frame, I couldn't get it back in. It's like that spring was way bent too much or something. And I didn't really deburr it or nothing. I'll take it apart again when I have time and, go and deburr everything. But I kind of bent that little spring back on the back of the hand, got it to slide up in there, and now the gun functions quite well. Okay. No problems. All right, so I don't know. I think the duelist was going to say something about one that he bought, and but when he took it out of the box, it worked fine, so he didn't have to do it. But he shows you how he disassembled it and cleaned it up. Okay, so these are a neat little gun. They're a lot smaller. than the other Colts. And we'll get it apart and we'll look at the cylinder, get a measurement, and figure out what kind of ball to use with it. Okay, and just for a comparison size-wise, here's my 1860, my new sight I kind of got on there, more or less. 1851 Navy, and our little pocket gun. Okay, like I said, you can see, maybe that way's better. Big difference in these firearms. So that's why this was the 380 pocket auto, or the 38 snub nose of the day was this little 31, as compared to these two service revolvers. So that gives you an idea of what we're looking at in terms of size. So let's take her apart and take a look at what I'm talking about in terms of shooting it. Oh, and one thing I will mention, this one also, the wedge, you notice it's just a plain wedge like the early Patterson. There's no little locking spring. That little lip that comes up and locks in there is not on this. And this thing was kind of difficult to take apart. We'll see about, just tapped it and it slides right out. But like I said, this is tighter than hell on there, which you kind of want the gun to be like that. You gotta use a little, well, then the wedge slides right back in. Yeah, so this little sucker's on there tight. Okay, there, finally, I gave it a couple taps with the rubber hammer and then use this little lever to push it off. And as you see, it comes apart like all the Colts. This is only a 5-shot. Now, I guess the rule of thumb is people shoot a 320 buckshot or something, or 320 ball or something. So what we're going to do is we're going to mic up these cylinders. They are somewhat tapered, but the mouth is coming out to about 319, and I did measure it with pins. So a 320 ball isn't really going to get a lot shaving in there, and good luck finding them. You're not going to find buckshot now during the shortage or anything. You can go to Track of the Wolf and have hand cast balls that are like 320 something, almost 330, and I believe the Baby Dragoon bullet from Air's Gone Bullet Mold is like 330 diameter, so that's well enough to cover any variance on these. Now, I don't know if the older ones are tighter. You know, if you get a gun that's 5, 10, 20 years older, same model, if it's going to be different, you know, by a few thousandths. I know the Remington 1858s, I was just doing a workup today about ordering some bullet molds. Their cylinder diameter is smaller than my 1860 here, okay? So that will come into play when you're fooling around with this. Now, bearing that in mind, I don't know if I'll order the round balls. Maybe I'll order some of them just to say I've shot round balls. And Air's Gone conical bullet mold is not going to be in stock until June, if not September, something like that. He pushed it back because of this crisis. So I may go and find, for all of you that love conical bullets and paper cartridges, and yes, this Ram does have the cutout for the pointed Colt bullet, so you're not going to have to modify it. But I do not know if I'm going to have to modify this area in here. I think it's going to be like the Walker. The concave will swing, but this corner is going to have to be taken out and opened up to get a conical bullet in there. I can see that already. It's going to be a problem. Just like on the walker, going to be the same thing. This area, this edge here will have to be tapered back. So I was looking at a custom-made mold, which will give me a healed bullet, which you can attach a paper cartridge to. And I also bought a set of cartridge formers from the guy that runs the I Like Western Guns. He sells his own system of making paper cartridges, and you can buy a kit from him that covers 31, 36, 44, and 44 Walker to make paper cartridges with. So that's coming in a while, and we're going to test that. But if I do get that mold, that eyeball mold, it may be 3 or 4 weeks before I get it. It's going to have to be made for me. So I don't know if I'm going to get out and shoot this here soon. I'm probably going to work with my 1860 because I got the sight on, and I'm getting the paper cartridge ordeal done. There, I'm getting some headway there where I'm making halfway decent paper cartridges. And we'll give the wedge a little tap. There we go. Okay, so there you have a quick look at it. Like I said, going to try to get some round balls. And I believe this also does have, because in Europe these are the only gun. Ooh, it shouldn't have done that. Okay, this does have a pin on it. So this does have a safety. And these older ones, they'll put one of those pins on there to engage that hammer. Like I said, it's not even on it. Let's see. I don't know, it's in there. But yeah, this action, out of all of them, this action was a little bit tough to begin with, so I'll have to pull that apart and look at it, but it appears to be working now, and that's how I believe people had these, where they had problems and damaged these right out of the box. That's the first one. Alright, so that's my basic unboxing review of this. It's going to be interesting and going to be a little bit different, so that's what we're working on. Thanks for watching.